Facts Verse presents Man who adopts a street dog has no idea what he has actually brought into his home. Getting a new pet can be very exciting. When most people adopt a pet, they start filling their social media pages with photos of their new pet. And Dan Tillery, he always wanted a dog. He and his girlfriend Megan had always lived in this apartment building that didn't allow pets, though. So after years of working multiple jobs and saving their money, the couple was finally able to afford a home of their own in June of 2016. Not only were they able to afford to buy a new home, they were able to finally adopt a dog like they've always wanted to. Dan decided that he would adopt a dog from the Detroit Dog Rescue. He wanted to help a dog in need, so the rescue would be the best place to go. This is where he met a 2-year-old American Bulldog named Sir Wiggleton. Dan learned that the dog had been wandering around the streets of Detroit before being picked up by members of the dog rescue. After being brought in, the dog spent over 100 days in the shelter before Dan found him. Dan says that as soon as he saw a photo of this dog with his big, goofy face, he knew he had to take this dog home. After adopting the dog, Dan renamed him Diggy, which is a whole heck of a lot better than Sir Wiggleton, you gotta admit. Well, when Diggy came home with Dan, he fit in great with his new family. Dan and Megan adored him, and the feeling was mutual. Diggy was friendly and fun-loving right from the start. Diggy loved going out with the couple and taking long rides in the car. He also loved being outdoors, which made him a perfect fit for this active couple. Everything was great, and Diggy was settling into his new home, too. Dan loved to share photos of Diggy. He posted them on his Facebook and Twitter pages, and it wasn't long before this dog became an internet sensation. People fell in love with Diggy's adorable face immediately. Dan was so happy about this new addition to his family, he wanted to thank the Detroit Dog Rescue for bringing them together, and he shared a photo of him and Diggy on their Facebook page. He wanted the people at the rescue to know that things were going great. Well, after Dan posted the picture of Diggy on the rescue's page, he became even more popular. In only 24 hours, the photo that Dan posted received over 24,000 likes. Dan couldn't believe how much attention his dog Diggy was getting. It wasn't long before he began getting messages on his social media pages from local media outlets who wanted to talk to Dan and Megan about Diggy and the attention that he was receiving. Dan thought everything was great with all of this. That is, until the local police came knocking on his door. What happened? I'll tell you in just a moment. First, help us spread the word about FactsVerse by clicking that like button, and also be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos. When the police came knocking, they told Dan that owning Diggy was in direct violation of Waterford's ban on owning pit bulls and pit bull mixes. Dan couldn't believe what he was hearing. He couldn't stand the thought of giving up his new best friend. According to the ban created by the township, these dogs were considered dangerous. Anybody living in the township was prohibited from owning one. Even if the dog is friendly and they have a clear history, they still can't live in the township. Dan assumed that he'd be let off with just a warning, but he was wrong. He was told that if he did not return the dog to the rescue, he would be forced to pay an expensive fine, or worse. Dan and Megan were brokenhearted. They didn't want to give up their friend, so they decided to fight this. And the first thing they did was post his story on Facebook, and right away, animal activists and other pit bull owners were showing their support. Dan was ready to go to court and fight for Diggy. Dan's lawyer was prepared to tell the court that the dog was not a pit bull, even though he looked a lot like one. Dan wanted to keep Diggy, but he also wanted to have the ban on pit bulls lifted altogether. So he started a petition, and before long he had 100,000 signatures that he could show the judge. The case went on for months, and finally the township agreed to let Dan keep Diggy. They also changed the ban as well. A man who adopted a street dog had no idea what he'd actually brought into his home. He brought home a best friend who helped change the township for all dogs in the future. Way to go, Diggy! Subscribe for more.